when you all share something, like you all have one common goal and everybody cares a lot. Like that's what everybody wants. That's what you talk about for months before it. Like it's special. It's a cool thing to go out there, and then it's another thing to go out there and do it and actually achieve it. You know, achieve the goals that you talk about with your friends. Something you don't forget.
November 10th, 2017 definitely brings back lots of memories and just reminds me of a team that really strived for a goal.
First thing that comes to my mind is get ready. The shirts that we made coming into our 2017 season was a good representation of what the seniors brought in, and the spirit and the courage that they came in and the confidence is what really gave us the road to go to Hofstra.
Before that, no Calhoun team has ever made it to Hofstra, and definitely ignited something in us as a team that we were able to get there. And I mean, once you get that feeling, you don't want to let that go.
Every time you lift and you run, you think about playing Garden City, you think about getting back to that moment.
We had a lot of talent coming back.
Bringing back our entire backfield definitely helped us coming into the season.
That's like the best backfield you could get as a quarterback. Knowing you have Tom back there that could outrun everybody and juke out everybody.
Having Nick and Ariel, both very athletic, very talented people who could help us win games and could make big plays for us.
I would like to say I'm more of the power back, and Nick is the shiftiest one. So it's a good balance between all of us.
I definitely love the feeling of being third in the conference.
It shows that, our hard work really did pay off, coming in from an 8th seed in 2017 to now ranked 3rd in the conference.
Oh, it was definitely a change. The motto coming in for Moeller was always, we're the underdog, we're the underdogs. We have to work to get that higher seed.
There is extra pressure being the 3rd seed. You're expected to win more games, but I feel like that really gave us a boost in confidence because people thought highly of us.
Playing since 9th grade, and you grow with the team and you get better, and everybody has the same work ethic. You become close with these kids. You've known them for 4 years, and you kind of realize that, all right, this is the season. We got to get stuff done, and everybody joins in.
I definitely think that it was great to start against Kennedy.
We've known those kids ever since Belmore Braves in middle school.
As soon as the schedules came out, we heard that they were talking a little bit, saying that they were going to beat us, so it really fired us up.
We had the right mindset, we were focused, and we were ready to go. After that game in the locker room, we definitely had to talk about our penalties. There was way too many that game, and it almost cost us the game, honestly. It made the game a lot closer than it should have been. We knew moving forward, if we wanted to have that dominant season, we couldn't have penalties like that.
Even from last year, we learned that having Garden City and Mepham in those games coming in the earlier season, we knew that we were a better team coming in to the second half of the season, and we didn't want to make the same mistakes that we made last year. So coming into the Cary game, they were the 2nd seed and we were the 3 seed. And we had a goal, and we wanted to beat them.
Last year, losing to them by 10 points on our home fields it killed us, and we definitely thought last year that we had the talent to beat them.
There was still a lot of doubt and there was still a lot of disrespect about Calhoun and how good of a football team we were and if we really deserved the 3 seed.
We definitely thought if we went out there and we won that game, it would put us on top, and I think that would really, for our team, give us that mindset that we were the real deal.
We all had the next play mentality, you know. Even with a touchdown that they had in overtime, we all looked at each other and we needed to find, you know, they still got to make the field goal. And I looked at Jack, I'm like, Jack, you know, just bull rush, and I'm going to try to do what I can do.
Didn't realize that, no, I knew, and it emphasized and made me realize that the team that we had was willing to fight tooth and nail for anything that we wanted to do.
It sent out a message not only to our community, but to all the teams in our conference that we're here to play and we're ranked 3rd for a reason.
It definitely boosted our confidence even more than it did the week before, because taking a powerhouse down like Cary, a team that's been known to be a very good football team in the past, multiple trips to Hofstra, it just gave us an extra bit of confidence going into week 3 against MacArthur. Playing at homecoming, I mean, being on a Friday night under the lights, the whole school's coming out.
It's a game where the whole crowd comes to see the football team.
You get to fight with your brothers in front of everybody.
It's talked about the entire week in school. Everyone's asking you, oh, like, what do you think's gonna happen? Like, how you guys gonna do? How you guys match up against them?
All the coaches and the captains always stress on looking at the bigger picture, and staying focused is so crucial, and especially in a game against MacArthur where we had quite some history with them.
Definitely beating MacArthur twice in the same season last year, beating them during their ping-out game was huge, and then beating them in our first playoff win in school history on their own field was crazy.
Their fans were not happy about that. We got a lot of emails coming in. Bad blood was definitely there. There was a rivalry coming in.
Moeller was talking about how their coach over there, when he heard that we picked them for our homecoming, that it really ignited a fire under them, and it made them want to come over and beat us even more. So we knew that we had to show up and we had to perform because they were coming after us.
That one definitely hurt a little bit when we lost. Last homecoming, last senior game, that's not one you want to lose.
I remember sitting in the locker room for 15 minutes in just silence after the game, just in disbelief.
You don't want that to hurt your season, so you got to use it, you got to internalize it, you got to let it fuel you.
We went into that game thinking that we were going to beat MacArthur, and losing to them just woke us up and made us realize that we can't just roll over teams because we think we can. We have to go out and perform, and if we're not performing and we lose, then that's on us. So we had to be able to take the loss for what it was and learn from it.
Every single time we run sprints after practice, every single time we took reps for offense and defense, we stressed it that we never wanted to be in that position ever again, especially for an important game as MacArthur was. I think it was a good way to go up against all the other teams in the upcoming season.
After the loss to MacArthur, we definitely were out of it. The entire week we felt the loss, even afterwards, even going into film and watching it. The coaches stressed the fact that we need to drop the feeling and get over the loss and move on.
Even though Herrick's wasn't necessarily the strongest team we faced all year, we stressed it that it's still not somebody to underestimate. Even coming back from a loss from MacArthur, we learned that we should never underestimate anybody.
They're kids just like us coming to play, and the loss to MacArthur definitely stressed that anything is possible. So if we weren't going to come perform for Herrick's, we could lose to them.
It was a good game coming back from a loss. Build everybody's confidence up.
We knew going to that game that we wanted to experiment a little bit with the throwing game because we kind of wanted to work on that this year. And it showed that at times the throwing game could work for us. So I definitely think that Herrick showed us that our offense couldn't score points whenever we really want to.
Some players that don't usually get to play got to play in that game, and it was cool to see everybody on the sideline cheering on like Chung and Paul, and it was a fun game.
Mepham every year we compete with them, so to me that's the real rivalry.
Playing a crosstown rival is a huge game every single year. It's a huge deal. I mean, everyone from both sides is talking about it.
That's one that you're thinking about before the season even starts, just what you want to do during that game. I mean, when you're in school, everybody talks about it. You're finally going to beat them this year. Is this it?
Last year we lost to them by 4. I told the seniors that that will never ever happen again. I still feel the pain of when we lost that game.
I think it's great to compete against your friends or people you know.
Just that level of competition goes up so much, knowing that you know them on a personal level.
But at the same time, you want to have those bragging rights when you go back and you're hanging out with your buddies and you're like, oh, well, we beat you when we played you in high school. So bragging rights is definitely a huge thing.
Our defense every week seems to come out there and perform, but our offense sometimes couldn't click, and that was definitely a frustrating part.
The team learned that the amount of talent we had, we just have to figure out how to complete our games, especially in an important game like that.
After that game, Miggs came up to us and he said, "We'll see them again. Keep your heads held high, we'll see them again." And that was all the motivation we needed. Just the idea and hope that we'll play them again, hopefully get to beat them was just enough.
We couldn't let that game define who we were as a team, so we knew what team we had in front of us. We had to play Garden City next week.
Playing a very talented team like Garden City, you have to have the right mindset. You have to take every single rep in practice seriously and as hard as possible.
I don't think anyone in this team was afraid to play him.
I definitely think that the loss last year was fresh in your mind going into that week because we realized that going into the half last year, 14-7, only down by 7 points, I mean, it showed that we could roll with anyone.
Having a Calhoun team that's never beaten them, I think, is a motivating factor itself.
After we fell to those 3 games, there were doubts, I think, in all our heads that we were going to crumble, that we started off so high and that we were going to burn out.
Definitely deflated us as a team because we knew coming into the season that we were way better than what we were performing at.
We realized that we needed to change as a team, that we needed to work harder, we needed to have better practices, we needed to do more because what we were doing wasn't enough. And I think a lot of people took that to heart and said, all right, like, it's go time. Like, this is it. This is the last year of football. Like, we're going to show them what we are.
Team effort's got to be there. You got to work in practice. You can't fool around. You got to pay attention and try your best whenever you're playing football. You can't turn that switch on and off when you want.
We came back next week willing to work. We were ready to work and ready to get after the next opponent. We definitely knew what was at stake, and going into a final week against Sewaniko, we knew that we had to win, or else we would have not been seeded well in the playoffs.
We definitely needed a confidence booster as a team.
out there, we took care of business as a team.
We got our chip back on our shoulder as far as our confidence goes.
Before that, I knew that we were very shaky as a team. We weren't very confident in ourselves. But coming off of the win after Sewanaka, winning in a great way, it got us ready for the playoffs. Being able to play Mepham twice in one season, definitely the loss during regular season was the first thing that came into my mind, and I knew that nobody wanted to play us during the playoffs because we're a completely different team. Our mindset is nowhere close to where it is in the regular season because you know that the next game could be your last.
When you walk out on that field and you realize that this could be it, like this could be the last time I put on these pads and I get to walk out with my brothers, it fuels you.
That's an opportunity that not every senior gets to have.
You want another practice. You want to see them again. You want to do all the dumb stuff you do at practice. You want to have fun with them. So you fight for that.
A win over Mepham in the playoffs on their own field would kind of reduce the feelings from the losses that we had during the season. It wouldn't get rid of them, but it would definitely just show how us as a team has bounced back from the adversity that we faced during the regular season.
You had to win that one. All the expectations, everybody talking in the hallways, well, you know, how far are you guys gonna go this year? Like, you think you can win it all, like this, that, like, it was a must win. We had to go out there, we had to prove to everybody who we were. Let's go!
We had that lead coming in, and we blew it as the game went on, so that was tough. As a team, we definitely had to talk. In our huddle, we were talking about it all the time. We go, listen, we can't let that score matter. We have to play this game like it's 0-0, just like a fresh start.
There were people coming up to me during the game asking me, oh, like this could be it because of how close it was, and I kept telling people you have to refuse to believe that we're gonna lose.
It's no more time to waste, like this is it, it's overtime. You're playing your crosstown rival in the first round of the playoffs, like what else can you ask for? It's the best thing you can get. There's no better feeling than beating your crosstown rival on their turf. However long it's been, you look up in the crowd, you get to see all your friends cheering. You see your parents up there, and finally you're on top. Like, you go, give Ariel a hug, give the boys a hug, and just, enjoy the win.
Going into that game, we were so prepared and we played angry, being relentless and fighting through adversity and not having the record that we necessarily wanted to have. Going into our playoff game showed what type of team we are.
Definitely most proud of how hardworking our team is and how we believe in each other, because there were times in that game where it could have went both ways, but that entire game we fought for every inch and every point that we scored on that scoreboard.
Just being Mepham alone was enough to give me that hope and that attitude that will definitely take down Garden City.
Coming into the season with the talent that we had one goal, and we were going to get that goal, was to go back to Hofstra.
It's a dream because the school hasn't been known for these playoff teams, and making it 2 years in a row has been crazy, especially being a senior, because you know how much you've played a part in that and played a role and how far you've come.
We showed everybody that it wasn't a fluke, it wasn't, oh, they got lucky, it was a one-year thing. Like, no, like, we worked hard, we earned this. Like, we're here.
Last year coming in, first time, that stadium is big. You got to get used to the crowd, you got to get used to the lights.
We kind of had that winner's mentality, so we weren't caught up in the hype about, playing in Hofstra. Like, we knew that we've been there before and we're going to act like we've been there before. So we just kind of ignored all those other things and focused on the game.
We had a party that night, and I realized there when I couldn't walk, and Val came over and started trying to roll out my leg, and I almost passed out on the couch, and I realized I was banged up. And of course, all my friends took care of me, and you know, going into that week, I had a tough time walking, tough time running, and you know, I was doing everything I can to get better.
It definitely worried me going into that game because I knew that Nick has given us so many opportunities using his athleticism.
I was just trying to play. I mean, I just wanted to get on that field, be able to fight with my team more time. I mean, it's special. Football is a special sport. It's not like anything else. There's no other feeling when you walk on that field and all 11 players have to be in sync together at all times or it just doesn't work. It's a special bond when you walk out with them. I think it was about like second play and it was a broken play and I think somebody went the wrong way and I tried to run and I just wobbled. I couldn't do anything. It's not the fairy tale way to end your football career, but I got one last moment with my friends and my team just to play, and it's special. It's a special thing when you go out there because it's not every day that you get to go to Hofstra, and it's not a lot of kids that, you know, are gonna ever have this moment in their life, and to be able to share it with my team and, you know, kids that I've known my whole life and played sports with my whole life, it's nice.
Moeller and Miggs would tell the seniors that they weren't going to pull any of us until we wanted to get pulled off. So I knew I wasn't going to say anything to them, but they pulled me with 8 minutes left. And I remember coming off to the sideline and just breaking down in tears and hugging all my friends because I knew that that was the last time that I was going to be able to play in that white jersey ever again. And it was the longest 8 minutes of my life.
At that point, I think kind of already hit me that that was it. So it was nice to be able to just talk to my friends at the sideline and just get to know what's on their mind, tell them about how I'm feeling, and just know everybody had fun and it wasn't a waste, it was meaningful, it was something that everybody wanted to do.
It definitely hurt. I remember going in as a freshman, not knowing what to expect, entering the Calhoun football team, but it was probably one of the best things I've ever done in my life. And I was like realizing how fast time flies by. It was something I will never forget.
I want you guys to know that I'm very proud of you. I want you to know that you guys left it here. Okay, you left it right on the field. Okay, you gave it your absolute best. The tears we shed is because we don't get to do this again. We don't get another shot. And I'm very proud of you. But remember, no one can take the memories that you made out here with your brothers. Nobody. And that is worth celebrating. Not now, not tonight, but another time.
These last 2 years of Calhoun football have been historic. 2 playoff appearances, 2 trips to Hofstra.
We all had that mindset that we wanted to establish that Calhoun wasn't a joke anymore. Calhoun football is not a joke. That Calhoun football is here to stay, and that we're going to compete every year.
The resilience that we've built and the hard work that we've given in order to be successful was definitely something to be proud of.
I think that this Calhoun class has brought a work ethic that was going to be passed down to years to come because we came from nothing. We had a bunch of talented guys coming in, but with our work ethic and our determination and where we wanted to go with the team, we just made it possible. Being a Calhoun Colt just meant being part of this ginormous family, whether it's in the classroom or on the field, because every one of those guys out there I know would do anything for me and I'd do anything for them.
To represent your team and your community in the best way possible with your brothers is a true honor that I would always hold.
You miss the little things. You miss hanging out with your friends. The games are special and you love them, but it's not what you remember after everything.
Having the experience with my brothers and having the time of my lives with basically my second family was definitely something I'm going to remember even when I'm 80 years old.
When I see them in 40 years, wherever their lives are, whatever they're doing, and just sit back and just remember, fun times we had as a Calhoun Colt.